What's up, gamers? Why is my chat window so far up? What are you doing up there? What are you doing up there? Get down. There. Okay, it is down. But now I am too large and you cannot see the chat. Hi. So, hi everybody! It's Case 4 time! Yay! Sorry, I'm distracted. My Switch is making an ungodly sound right now. It sometimes does that when I first turn it on. It's like, oh god, I gotta play a fucking game for a while. Oh, yeah, so I posted this in the Discord. I have a new toy. So this is the Hallowed Chalice that I made for myself. Whenever anybody either like follows or subscribes or does pretty much anything on the stream, little stars will plink down into it and gradually fill it up. 'Cause I'm extra and I remembered that this extension was a thing that I could do. So now we're playing with it. I'm gonna do something real quick, real fast. There. Now I'm a little smoother. I had the scaling turned off, but now we're good. Anyway, I want to say hi to chat now. There's a lot. You guys are having a whole ass conversation. Afterworth, hello. Nugos9, hello. Wandering Dreamer, hello. Don M. Theron, hello. Chris Hall 27, hello. Catboy Disaster, hello. Sup? And to all of the lurkers who are here, hello to you guys as well. I gotta remember to say hi to my lurkers because I know there's some of y'all here. Hee hee. Oh, and Red Eye 351, hello to you too. Hi. What's up, you fucking punks? Let's play Ace Attorney! I am excited. So, let's ace these attorneys? Yeah. I tried to make myself a purple outfit today, but it didn't. I didn't have time to finish it. I posted a link in the Discord though, so if you haven't seen that, you should go look at it. Anyway, I have no fucking idea where we're going to go from here, because we finished case 2-3 last time, which was this one, and whoa, that was a lot. But yeah, so now we're starting case 4. I have no idea what the hell is gonna happen now. Okay, good. I was worried that my sound was turned off. But yeah. Hang on, I'm gonna adjust the chat window. Yeah, we need to fucking grill a certain great detective for lying his ass off about us, sir! So, hang on, let me fix the chat window real quick because it's still a little low for some reason. Nope, go up. Go up a little. Okay. I'm gonna prop that down. Okay. Stream setup is constantly a work in progress. Don't mind me. Anyway, let's heckin' get into it! Let's go! Oh wait, hang on, let me get my... Let's go! There we go. Woo! Case 4! Twisted Karma and His Last Vow. This is so ominous. The last one was ominous too, but... Manfred von Karma, what are you doing in the 1800s? Let's go!
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night.
Yeah?
And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town.
Sus.
There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
Let's go! Somebody died! Sorry. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Cosimo regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Fancy. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. Susato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. And not that I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew? That he was actually the mass murderer, the professor, you mean? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right. But for some reason, he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows, then. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia and that he's regained his memory now. Okay, someone's asking if we could throw the chalice. You guys can't, but I can do this. Yeet. Ah, there she is. Look at these dapper gentlemen with the bowler hat. My God. Father. Hello, Susato. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. And the fucking judge with a crazy beard. Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh, no, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man, and why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go then. He just has the gavel! I hereby pronounce the defendant Ryunosuke Naruhodo guilty! No! Ah. Oh! You're... Yeah, he looks different without the hat on. I forgot he had a weird hat. The courts will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. There you go. Your Excellency. Hello, Judge Ikoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Good, you've remembered now. That really did the trick. Guilty. Jesus fucking guy. Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. Oh! I was wondering who the third person who came with them was, because it was Kazuma Dad, Susato Dad, and I guess this guy was the third. Okay, because they said like 3 students came over. So I guess now we know. London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. And to be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited on to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, though, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Yujin? Of course, Judge Shikoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who, 16 years ago, came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar. Yes, Ryunosuke, thank you for catching up. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a long time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't even have to go through any of that, did you? I knew you were jealous. Sorry, ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on the study tour. Oh shit. Guilty as charged! Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Ah, yes now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved in 8 days ago. Yeah, some things! That's one way of putting it, I guess! I guess you could say that some things happened. Just some stuff. Just some things. Some normal-ass shit. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. Yeah, that and some other stuff. Yes, could you tell us any more about it? Yes, please. I'm dying over here. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience. Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris? We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening, we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact, that starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's thanks to Seishiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited, and I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Yujin. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at the major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. Yeah, that's... Is that Iris's? No. Maybe? I don't know. I don't remember. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Kazuma's father, I suppose. Oh, okay, so he was in forensics. That explains a lot about how he was able to get away with crimes! Crimes! Ugh. The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Asogi. Genshin Impact? Genshin. You knew, I presume, Father? Yes, he was a close friend at the time. What an impactful name. That's the wrong button! Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a close trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what actually happened, even in our homeland. But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. Was he now? However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Oh, why? Because he chopped the statue in half. How did I know about that? Don't worry about it. As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said... Oh god, I have to remember how the fuck to do Kazuma's voice. Ah, jeez. I've decided. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. Oh? What? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma since turned up here in London working as an apprentice of Lord Van Zeek's. What? What? That's news to us. So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father? In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try and ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive? And here in London, you say? I never dared to even dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia. What? Amnesia? When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. Sus AF! I must speak with him urgently. Wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Yes, please, I want to see my boy! Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? No, it wouldn't! Go see your boyfriend! Oh, but I guess we're gonna talk some more then! That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Yujin here, Genshin Asogi, and myself. We were the original 3. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Look at these fucking boomers. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady. Yes, grandmother told me. He went to do research at the Great London Hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Not more talk of graves. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Kaiden, his name was. He was a good man. Whoa, what voice just came out? When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing and tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after that trial we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. Dark shit. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here. Susato-san's gone off at a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Naruhodo. I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been. Oh, no. I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh, yes, Susato-san hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. So Susato's mom is definitely dead, right? We can pretty much confirm that. She died, like, either giving birth to Susato, I was about to say, or before Susato was born, but that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Tragic backstories all around for everybody. One other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask of you. Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm so sorry that took— Hey! Hey! Oi! I know it took so long. Miss Susato. Now then, allow us to take your bags. That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Yes, of course. Sorry. Oh, Ryunosuke, look, he's so fucking nervous. Look at this buddy boy. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then, but we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street, then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. And can we please go talk to Kazuma? Holy shit! I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, yo. Yes! Me too! Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. Where's my boy? Where has he gone? Go in here! I want to see my little boy. Oh, hello, Vamporth. What you doing, bud? Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zeek's doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say? This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. Ah, they've spotted us! My apologies, I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me. Oi! No, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. Ask Kazuma where he got that cool-ass outfit. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord? I'm right here. Kill me now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived from London earlier today, I hear, madam. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. Hi, Van Zoinks. What's up, buddy? I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Van Zieks. I will attend at once. Oh, he's just fucking staring at us. Oh, what the fuck? He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe. Oh, of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just, Fear not. You've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. And that would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Van Zieks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though, disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Kazuma, where'd you go, bud? Oh, missing? What's become of Kazuma-sama now? Can we ask him about that while we're here? It's like, hey, bro, what the fuck? Okay, I'll talk about this first, I guess. Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital of Tokyo is 2 million. I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making, 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations. The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques, and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential, which is why this landmark first symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. Again, sorry about that. Not really our fault. Not our fault that your forensic lady was a fucking murderer. We had nothing to do with that. We just dragged it out in the open. Justice. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, no one wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancements in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. Okay, can we talk about Kazuma now? Oh my god! About Lord Van Zieks' apprentice. Ah, yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say. That you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zieks in the first place? It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh my! So he stowed away to get here. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia, too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zieks. That way I could keep an eye on him. But then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zieks with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zieks. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. Oh, come on! What? Oh. I take it you also didn't know. That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Yeah, Genshin Asogi. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was... Ah yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused quite a stir here in Britain. They were such awful murders, and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Huh. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believe, anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. Interesting. I don't think I have anything cool I can show him. No, I don't want to examine. Present. I don't think I have anything. No. Okay, bye! We'll maybe come back later if we have more things to show you guys. Where's Kazuma? Show me my mans! Where is he? Hey! What was that? A man screaming in a most unflattering way. Do you think... Could it have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I do hope not. What the fuck is happening right now? I don't do it anymore! Mon ami, mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display, huh? Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red. Oh yeah, his mask is here, what the fuck? I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Or Gina. Right, you two, you're coming with me now, down to the clink. No, not in prison, it is dark and damp and I don't like it. Bon, the darkness it is my friend, I am not scared. But you are always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. I don't like this. I don't like it. This is a lot. Well, tough. We'll finish this down at the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective. What in the world is happening? And then I will fire the missiles. Gina makes a fine detective herself. Oh! We got a little thing in the glass! Yay! That's the first time we've been able to do that. Kenta42069, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream squad. This game is so cute looking. It's very cute and also kind of dark and has many hot boys in it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Runo. Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well that's great news. I hope we'll get to see my daddy again. So oh, no! Ah, yes, of course. Dr. John H. Wilson. Okay, this is probably Sholmes. So, Iris, all that remains now is the greatest problem known to man. Ah! Sholmes! What? Sir? We match! I mean, I've got like the red scarf, but like, Sholmes, what are you doing? You going through a phase, bud? What? But before I concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you say, my dear fellows? Daddy, sorry. Daddy, sorry. Yeah, me too, Susanoo. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? His fucking eyebrows match. Oh my god. Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today? In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today. Why is your hair red? What happened? Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes, who are the two gentlemen that were here before? Oh, it's just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. When the mood takes you? All manner of infractions? But when such fellows set their sights on Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes? But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. You should have asked Gregsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha! I have it. A bungler, that's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads had been up to no good? I wonder what the men did. And what did Sholmes do? Why is your hair red, sir? What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes? How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere. Possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops. Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent. That's called capitalism, my guy. Aha. But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tispels only the other day? Pshaw, a large sum? One potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and it has all quite disappeared, I assure you. Honestly, Hurley, you know you squandered it. Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago. I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes. Don't tell me. Let me see. Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is right in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There's one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. What? Yeah, you know, just a tiny detail. In the end. It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the beginning of our conversation. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo. Do we? Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if the charade goes on any longer. Sir, what the fuck? Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us... Yeah, shit, it's time for this fucking conversation. Why? I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. That case aboard the SS Buria in January. Kazuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on? Fucking spill the tea, Sholmes! The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they'd carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. Sholmes! Fucking tell us! But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. Oh! I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes. Fucking spill the beans! You red-headed son of a bitch! Oh, that's not what I meant to do. What is the deal with the mask on the table? The mask Cosimo wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zeeks as his apprentice. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? Is there anywhere else we can go, or do we have to... I guess we have to look at more stuff in here. There's nothing more to talk to him about, but I don't have anything in my pockets. No, I guess maybe I gotta look at some shit. My eye's always drawn to this big metal chest that Mr. Sholmes and Iris use as a coffee table. Isn't it where Iris keeps her very important papers? It is, so you'd think that they'd treat it with more care, really. But only the other day I saw Mr. Sholmes kick it. Oh no! I suppose something must have been frustrating him. What a shame to mistreat the furniture, though. Was it damaged? The chest was fine, but Mr. Sholmes was doubled up on the floor for almost 10 minutes. Oh dear, that is a painful tale. Newspaper on the couch? This looks like last week's edition. What's that article circled in red ink there? It's an advertisement column. It says... To the Red-Headed League. What? The Red-Headed League? What's that? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but... Is something on my face? Clearly this has something to do with that lively hair. Okay. I guess we gotta show that to Mr. Sholmes so he'll fucking explain what the fuck is going on. If you are a redhead, on account to the Red-Headed League, on account of the bequest of the late Ezekiah Hopkins of Lebanon, PA, USA, there's now another vacancy which entitles a member of the League to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services. All red-headed men who are sound of in body and mind and above the age of 21 years old are eligible. Apply in person on the morning of the 31st at the large park on Lime Street. Get £4 per week if you are a redhead. A most fantastic money-making opportunity. What? It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. To the Red-Headed League? Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? This fucking nerd. So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you've circled? You noticed it in the paper, then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me.
But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week.
Oh my, £4 a week? But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement.
But surely every red-headed person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. So will I, just on the off chance.
That might be stretching a point, I think.
The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see.
Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away.
It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes.
So you decided to try to join this place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it. This fucking guy.
What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes?
I'm glad you asked, Miss Usato. What you see atop my head is neither dye nor a hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight by the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair a flame-like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass.
But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it?
Amateurs are always hampered by such fears.
Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say...
But of course! To earn £4 a week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely.
So anyway, Hurley left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street where the red-headed league were interviewing prospective new members.
So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk like a Costa's orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. But when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police. What?
Oh dear, what a disaster. For Hurley and those two redheads.
So you just got so annoyed at not being able to make money that you fucking threw random dudes in jail? Sholmes, what are you doing, bud?
Ding-a-ling.
Aha! Here's my guest now, my latest client with money to spend.
Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley.
Remember, Iris, we are here at present gripped by the present problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you?
Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Aha. Hello?
Mr. Sholmes! Oh, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, please! Oh, please! Please find my husband, he's run away!
To upset me.
I beg your pardon?
Never mind, a personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madam, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please.
Of course.
What's the matter, Miss Susato?
Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently.
Yes, now you come to mention it.
As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil.
Evie Vigil? Ever Vigil? Jeez.
I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure.
Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough. No, it's not! Sholmes, you just were talking about how much you need money for rent. My guy, my dude. No.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are the picture of benevolence.
I will of course make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust that you will remember your words also.
If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be...
Oh, me?
What I'm about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand.
These are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me.
Ah, I see.
I can vouch for the gentleman personally. After all, he's hard of hearing. What? Why did I ever get my hopes up? This is going to some places. Forgive me asking, Miss Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps?
Oh, my!
Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion.
Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week?
Ah, I knew I recognized her.
To have have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly! It sends shivers down my spine.
I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now.
It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer. Being hard of hearing, I mean.
Pardon?
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really, nothing more.
Now look what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. Jeez. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Tell us about your husband, madam.
Mr. Vigil, my daily
Vigil! Oi!
is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here.
That's some hair guy. An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. How long have you been married?
It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably.
As it would appear. I need only look at you to know these things.
Oh gosh!
Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct?
That's right. He is a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me.
Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or another.
Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will?
What exactly is your husband's line of work?
He's a warder at the prison.
A guard? That is somewhat unusual. So, your husband is a prison warder.
That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder.
Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation.
Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out.
Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments? No, lowercase punishments.
And at such times he must occasionally spend a night or two at the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors.
Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, what prison is your husband engaged?
Barclay Prison.
I fucking knew it! That's the prison where what's-his-fuck Cosimadad was. Really? Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there's a large cemetery just behind it.
Yes, that's correct. A Lowgate Cemetery.
Yep. No. Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellow, and yet undeniable.
Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you've lost me.
Ah, pay no heed, madam, pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing?
Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday.
I'm sorry? Yesterday? That really is recent. Laughably so.
The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not all out of the ordinary for him not to return at home at night, but this is different. For him to not make any contact for a whole day? That has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever can have happened?
My dear Miss Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police?
Why, naturally, but sadly... They refused to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home.
I've got a bad feeling. Because Kazuma also went missing yesterday. He might be involved somehow, and now I am nervous as shit. In truth, Miss Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage in my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. Of course it doesn't. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it.
You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention.
You seek only to put this sweet rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Capitalism, baby. Thank you for everything you've shared with us, Miss Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation.
Oh, please report to me with some good news, sir.
Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure.
So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes.
Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Gimme. Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door.
I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous. You know, I think it every time, Hurley. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two? Are you sure?
I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I do hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of the day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? And don't look at me with those pleading eyes. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details on the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that.
Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery.
Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison, so it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. I'm gonna miss being able to do that robot voice. That was a lot of fun to do. I don't know how much we're gonna see that guy again anymore. Probably not much at all. But who knows?
Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated.
The professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Run along to the prison and see what you can glean, wouldn't you? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried. But aren't you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair. Sholmes. Stupid! Stupid, stupid man! But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was quite a different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. Stupid. Of course you are. Let's go then, I guess. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. That's quite a clock. Jesus Christ. Oh, this is a beefcake. This place is full of hardened criminals. I can never remember the last time a civilian was down here. Oh, are we gonna make Star do a Scottish accent? I can't do a Scottish accent! And you didn't want to talk to an inmate, but to me? Look at this fucking beefcake. I don't know how to do a Scottish accent, you guys. Do you ken who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Caden. Barricading? Oi. Huh? Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Rinosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. And an Easterner, I see. Does that mean? Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes? Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? Jeez, guy.
I didn't notice another prison next door, sir.
Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about... I did not like to be so direct, but... I've no intention of speaking with the likes of you suspicious-looking Easterners. Now get out of my hair. It's not that it's not that I can't do it, it's just that I literally don't know how to do a Scottish accent. Like, I haven't practiced, like, at all. So, get out of my hair. So, this dude's voice is going to be rather inconsistent. I'm apologizing for that now. So, as soon as he finds out we're from Japan, he reacts like this? That surely means...
I think it's because of the professor case.
You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshin Asogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known! You're sniffing around a bit that case, aren't you? You're agents, eh? Part of the Professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just... Get on with ya, before I punch your lights out. We're going. Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not gonna get anywhere here. Unless we can somehow prove this man that there's nothing suspicious about us.
Governor Caden.
Oh, what are you thinking, Miss Susato?
I'm sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us.
Come to think of it, I had the same feeling. Yeah, someone mentioned that name and I forget. Oh, her dad mentioned it. Or, wait, no. No, not present. I want to move. Back to the hotel. What's up, business dad? Oh, that's Professor Mikotobo over there. Ah, hello, you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. But where's Judge Jikoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects at all the legal bigwigs.
Having only just arrived in the country today? Goodness, he's full of energy.
Professor, you mentioned something before. About how you'd known the prison governor of Barclay Prison. Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? So it is the same man.
Father, we must speak with the governor. Give me a letter of introduction, Daddy. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners.
Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable settee. And now I have a rather lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts.
Or could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts?
Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully, when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Ah, thank you. Good luck, then. Okay, bye! Thanks, Dad! Bye! Oh. Take that! If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden. What's this then? You cannot pull over the wool over my eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikotoba. That young jock from the forensics laboratory? That Mikotoba. Yes, exactly, him, jock. Susato, did your dad also play rugby?
Oh dear, perhaps I should have sent something sooner. I'm Yujin Mikotoba's daughter, Susato.
Jings, you're the young man's daughter! And you didn't think to mention that afore?
I do apologize.
Aye, well, you'd best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And didn't forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing.
I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now.
So then, what can I do for you, Hen?
Well, we're currently investigating a case.
It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing. Missing?
That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor.
I haven't heard anything of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison. Oh. But how can that be?
It's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder.
Eh? Vigil? That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him.
Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir?
Aye, of course. Let's talk to this man. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison. Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warder. Sorry, did you say was? Aye, he does not work here anymore. He left the job.
Oh my!
When was this exactly? There's a question. When was it about? It could have been much less than 10 years ago now. Okay.
What?
10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Aye, as I mind it. Do you ken? I hadn't had the fella's name in all that time. That's a worry if he's gone missing, though. But Miss Vigil made no mention of it.
I think perhaps Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here.
Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
Can't help but wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Yeah, all this shit fucking ties in! It all ties in! Oh, completely unrelated to anything. But I've been like slowly pushing the boundaries of how much my computer can handle when I've got the VTuber turned on. And it looks like it can handle physics. So you can like watch my little like earring wiggle. It wiggles. Yay. which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison.
So Mr. Vigil was actually resigned from the position of chief warder 10 years ago, you're telling us? What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he did not leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry, a walk? Aye, that's all word for it in here. A walk to the gallows. An execution. It's a job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning.
What did he do?
I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal that information. But I can tell you that it's very rare for a chief warder to be relieved of his post. But why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't have known anything about that, I'm afraid.
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
And what would that be, Hen?
That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's?
My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm no at liberty to answer that.
I see.
Yep, didn't think so, but... It deepens! The plot thickens!
My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted.
The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. You can? Yes, I can imagine.
The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
Your father works in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. In the basement of St. Sinners. It's still in use today. St. Sinners? That's come up before, I'm sure.
Yes, that's right. We've been there.
Mikotoba and I have used to ride in a carriage together and negotiate terms. More fresh material, I suppose. Aye, and we used to sit in here for hours and gab on about dissection and all sorts. Oh, it takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of Cuff biscuits, of course. Jeez.
How charming.
He was a good fella, your father. Reliable and dead set in his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese. Because of Genshin Asogi, I suppose. Well. I cannot tell you anything else.
Thank you so much for your time, Governor.
Oh, one moment before you're away, Hen. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison.
What is it?
That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course.
Oh, my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original, no, it's mine. Okay. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed. I would love to never come back here and never have to do your voice again, sir.
Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being.
Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found out about Mr. Vigil. What will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? Let's go!
Dun, 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 dun.
We're back.
Hello, you two.
Or is that Sholmes? Oh, goodness, sorry.
I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all.
Oh, so that's what the delicious smell is. Blue! Blue! Sholmes! What? What are you doing? Greetings, my dear fellows. You've returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. God, I am actually lightheaded from laughing. What is this man doing? Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. It turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application.
Oh my.
Pray, tell me, what of our warder friend? Have you garnered some new information? Oh, yes. Something very surprising, in fact. Though it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest.
It most certainly isn't. But still, we discovered that...
Sholmes!
Oh, hi, Gina.
Drop everything, Sholmes! This is more important. Gina?
I can't Adam and Eve it.
Uh-oh. Gina?
What's happened?
Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever.
It's the boss.
What do you mean, Inspector Gregson?
The boss is... he's...
What?
He's dead.
Oh, shit.
They just found his body, shot with a pistol.
What?
But...
Inspector Gregson? He was murdered?
No, not Gregsy.
Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. Holy shit. Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson he was really shot?
I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene.
Where did this take place?
A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street.
The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then.
Thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. How strange. The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I was gonna show him I'd become a proper detective. Oh, Ginny.
Shit. So, who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is?
They caught him already.
Already? If it's Kazuma, I will yell. You've caught the shooter so soon?
Witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him.
Who? What awful person did this?
I still can't believe it myself. Gina?
It was... What?
It was the Reaper.
What? Wait a minute. You don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zieks for it?
That's right. That Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss.
No, Lord Van Zieks? Holy shit. Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? It's Barak von Zieks the police have arrested. I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him. So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses? They had the gunshot, apparently. And when our lot came to the scene, there was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room. There's no way Lord Van Zieks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it either. Thank you for informing us, Mr. Strahd. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come and all. As soon as you can, you gotta help. It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot has unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. And Mr. Sholmes. What use is there in being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming, How could I let this happen to Gregson? Gregson. Jesus. Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later then. Yeah, just put that hat down on your head and try and pull it down as far as you can, Sholmesy. Maybe no one will notice your hair. Inspector Gregson dead and Lord Van Zieks arrested.
Bruno, Susie! I've called you a hansom. It's waiting outside.
Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Miss Susato?
Yes.
I'm telling you, secret government call-out post and everyone on it has been killed now. It's a secret government hit list! I mean, technically Cosmo is still alive, but, like, he was almost dead. Vampworth, what did you do, bud? What happened? Oh, look at him just chilling. Hey, buddy! Getting some deja vu here. We're gonna be defending the prosecutor. This doesn't have deja vu written all over it. No, certainly not. And there he is, Lord Van Zieks behind bars.
So it's true, he really was arrested.
Sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zieks? Fancy meeting you here. And the last place on Earth I'd like to be, with the last person on Earth I'd like to see. Hey! I couldn't very well not come. Oh, we heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But...
Forgive me, Lord Van Zieks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please.
There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? This? The odd isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance.
Oh, who might that be?
Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain. Aw, they're right, they're pen pals now. Of course, yes, I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know?
Strange.
I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his word. But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. What's up, buddy? Heard about some shit that happened. Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks? What happened? How much do you already know?
We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street.
And that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested.
We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that there was some witnesses heard the gunshot.
And then you're well informed. And there's really nothing I can add. Truth is, I don't know what happened to myself. But the gunshot! Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting people I work alongside. I also heard the noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened.
If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with?
I don't need to answer that.
Oh!
After all, you're not representing me. He is gonna need a lawyer, though. Who's gonna be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Hey!
Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet?
And defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. God, he really is just Vampire Edgeworth, isn't he? No one's gonna take his case because he's got some problems, and now he's chased off anyone who could be willing to defend him when he's accused of murder. Deja vu, baby! And that's not me being mean about it. I love this. I am adoring this shit. It is giving me flashbacks to the original game, and just... I love it so much. The nostalgia of a murder. Do people keep dying around Edgeworth? No, but people generally don't like him because he's kind of a tool. But this is different. In my career, all of the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now.
Surely not.
I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I, however. It seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper.
Because the Reaper doesn't follow people around, you mean?
Yes, so it seems. Your stooped little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo.
So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany now.
He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. so I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. You may be a dick, but I don't think you're a murderer. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer, however. I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. But, please. I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time. But... perhaps we need to dig a little deeper. And find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what's happened to Inspector Gregson. I still can't... like, I'm still in shock that Gregson's dead. Like, holy shit. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden, rented room is where it happened, then. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life? Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I'm sorry, is that a red wig on the floor? What the fuck? I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere. Oi, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can see it, look underneath and all. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey, ain't you lot ever gone over house looking for dough when the owner's out of town? Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oh, so you turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. He went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking at that and this, and then just scarpered. Oh, he finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you not mind if we investigated too? Listen, Otto. You're a lawyer, right? Yes, why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are you? Oh, poor Gina. She's never gonna forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Otto. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened to you. Thank you, Gina. Alright, let's talk to her. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what, half a year since I got out of the clink? That's when I decided to give up me diving and become an detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out he's a bit of a legend, the odd. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that. He did? Yup, and ever since then he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the Odd even knows what other cases he's working on are, apparently. Well, that's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all. And look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. I take my hat off to that fella, were his words. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper.
Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke.
Didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard.
He said something else to me and all. That I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, cause he only goes after people what are bad. I did kind of set me mind at ease when he said that.
Right.
Oh, Cat5 Cable, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Stream Squad. Another star in the jar.
Or, sorry, the the chalice.
Apparently it's being rented by some cove called Hugh Boone.
Hugh Boone? Hugh Boone? Bone?
Hugh Boone.
It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow today name, that, isn't it?
Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him.
Oh, what's the chalice? So one of the characters in this game has like his little his hallowed chalice that he always has in court, and I thought it was cute, so I made one for myself. It puts little stars in it anytime something happens on stream, so whenever someone follows or subscribes or like, no one's ever donated anything, but I don't care that much. If anyone does donate, it will drop stars in there. It is and if I want to, I can just yeet. I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever.
Right? All the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder.
Yes, Miss Susato?
Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself?
What? How could that be?
Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his.
I'd never even considered that.
Nice work, Zeus. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves.
You are?
If you look around the room, you'll see. There's a few things that hint at it.
We should really investigate this place in detail.
We will in a minute. I see that's where the poor inspector was found, over there.
Yeah, that's right.
They said it was a single bullet what did him in.
Followed your art Twitter for years, loved the VTuber character, but didn't immediately make the connection. Great, Vig, very emotive. Thank you.
Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall.
Oh, yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely.
And the gun he used is there on the floor. It's a Reaper's, ain't it? No denying that.
But what? Really?
How do you know that? Take it easy. I didn't know what to do with myself when you stabbed me like that with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I've heard. I don't know much about guns myself. There's some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him?
A bigwig lawman, is it? But we know who that is.
Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who had the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll be getting a grilling.
Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves?
I doubt it. The lads at the odds will just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for grilling and all.
So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Okay, let's investigate. Investigations. I want to know what this picture frame is about. Why is it so bright green?
Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. Ah!
What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. Who is it?
They are! Look, Mr. Naruhodo, quickly!
Aha! Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow?
Of course she's familiar! We met her only this morning!
Yeah, it's Miss Vigil. This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here? Jeez. To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped.
I'm sorry to say I have no idea either.
Interesting. An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it?
It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time.
In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather.
Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely.
No, that's right. It's one or the other. Yeah, it's my corkboard, look! I know, I need to update the Stars Theory board, because holy shit, there's a lot going on here.
This looks like some sort of notice board or something.
And it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, look!
This, you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it?
And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates.
Yes, in fact, they're all the sorts of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room?
Some old newspaper cuttings. Oh, and this one here.
Oh, yes, the advertisement, you mean? To the Red-Headed League. Oh, Jesus Christ. But why? What's that doing here?
Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason.
Interesting. Why is there a little tiny policeman on the floor? Oh, what's this?
It would appear to be a little model policeman.
It's rather charming, isn't it? Oh no! Van Zieks loves the miniatures! Oh no! It belongs to him! No! Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson?
It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zieks playing with something like this.
Is it? We saw his whole fucking model of the Great Exhibition when we were in his office. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. Could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence just in case.
Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful after all, in a way.
Yeah, he's a big nerd. That's not headcanon, that's canon! I know Dungeons & Dragons isn't gonna exist for like another 100 years in this world, but he plays D&D and you cannot change my mind. Anything weird about this guy?
The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear.
I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun. God, what's that?
It appears to be some kind of key.
But it's tiny though, it couldn't be a key for a door, not that size. So what is it for, I wonder? Interesting. Huh. This looks like some sort of key.
Yes, it does. A very tiny and simple key.
What's the little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? And what's it for? Huh. Interesting. So I suppose this is where the victim...
That's right. This rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found.
We'll put tape around where the body is. That way we'll know where it was. Detective, there's a pool of the killer's blood in that hallway. Gross. Mop it up. Anyway, back to my hunch. I've got it. We'll draw chalk around where the body is. That way we'll know where it was. Look for clues! Sorry, I had a moment there.
Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away.
And would probably be under Dr. Scythe's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week.
From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling all right, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost.
I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that bloodstain next to it.
Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality.
Susato-san is so strong, though. She's taking this far better than I am. Fucking wig. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing.
Oh! Funnily enough, neither can I.
It's a hairpiece, isn't it?
It is! It is! A bright red hairpiece.
And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it?
And in such flame-colored red, too.
Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Snatched!
Exactly! This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it.
Snatch that wig! Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right, perhaps I'd better leave you to your work, then. Well, let me look at this gun, then. This is presumably the murder weapon, then.
Oh my! It is real, I suppose?
I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them.
There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot!
Don't do that! No, no, no. If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer to ask someone who might know, I think. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed those boards over the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore.
Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least still let in some light, so
you could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. A lot of stuff in here, despite the fact that there's not a lot of stuff in here. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off.
Yes, there's wax splattered on the wall behind, look.
I suppose if a bullet had hit it...
It does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body.
Ugh, now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. You have anything to say to me, punk? Oh, wait. Excuse me. If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. Okay, anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else to look at? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? This guy? Excuse me. Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir. That poor man. He can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. Okay, anything else? 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 Doesn't look like it. Okay. Let's show Gina some things. Or well, here, let me look at this first. Ah, there's some black marks here, look.
Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks.
So perhaps a bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems.
Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them.
Just yank that shit right off the wall. I suppose this must have been the murder weapon. It's got a little hook on it, so you can hang like little anime keychains from it. I suppose this must have been the murder weapon.
Oh my. It is real, I suppose?
I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. Perhaps someone more familiar with firearms could shed a little light on things here. Is that just all it says? Okay. Snatched! I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like.
That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you?
I'm not sure that's quite how I'd put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place on your head. So if it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean.
That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think?
Just bobby pins, my guy, my dude. We already looked at that. Is this anything? No, I can't actually look at anything here. Oh yeah, we didn't actually read this. Chief Warder Daily Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect for having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Reason for dismissal: aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict... yeah, fucking Genshin Asogi, just prior to his execution. Details of the escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be expected. Additional notes. Indications are that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded. Huh. It's a tangled web. Gina, do you know anything about guns? No, I didn't think so. I'm just gonna see if she has anything to say about these evidence. No, nothing there. Nothing there. Okay. Let's see if we can find Sholmes. Okay, he is not here. Oh yeah, we were gonna go bother Lord Chief Justice, weren't we? You've made good time. I took an express train back to London. Who is this? I can hear Lord Strongheart. Can you?
Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone.
Cosimo! Hi, Cosimo! What is happening here, though? Now I'm very scared. Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. It's...
Kazuma-sama!
Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes.
I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson.
I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective.
Oh, no, surely not!
It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So, does that mean the trial is tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Hi, Kazuma. Why are you looking so mad? Kazuma. Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Sogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings. Leading the prosecution. Holy shit! You are kidding me! Someone mentioned that as a possibility earlier, and I was like, No, he wouldn't. Oh boy. Oh, the tangled web. Holy shit, Kazuma! Wait. What? Kazuma. As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law.
Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor?
The fucking tension in tomorrow's trial, right? Look at him just fucking standing back there. Jesus Christ. Kazuma, bud. What are you doing, bud? I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be followed closely all over London. In fact, no. People all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey. And now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. The public want answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths.
But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters.
And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true. Or it has been, at least, until now. No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Did you fucking frame him to get him out of the way? Dude? So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow? That's right.
But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart.
Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. I've no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor.
But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain.
It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You asked for this? But why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you?
Ugh.
Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation.
I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact.
You're quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution? Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed, after practicing law in this land for so many months. Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't gonna end well, my friend. Kazuma, what happened to you, bud? What happened? Oh, yes, we noticed there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zieks? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know.
That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct.
It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine.
In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim.
No, Gregson had his gun on his person. Oh, what about Lord Van Zieks? He claims it's currently not in his possession. What? According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious.
But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his.
No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zieks. This is just so fucking twisty. Okay, he's probably not gonna tell me anything else. Maybe he knows about this? No. Fucking nothing. Okay, well I need to talk to Kazuma though. Move over, Captain Stopwatch! I wanna talk to my boy. I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be alright now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything. Including what I was coming here to do. Right.
Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia?
It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London, that's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London.
I'm so sorry for what's happened.
Anyway, my memory might have returned to me. But there's something that won't return to the way it was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. Buddy boy. Doesn't look like we're gonna glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Buddy boy? Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? I just wanted to thank you.
Kazuma-sama, what?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection.
You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you.
Yes. But I had another purpose for coming here. Are we finally gonna figure out what that was?
Oh!
I actually have a favor to ask. Which is? This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me. As a defense counsel. Conflicted emotions. But why? What's all this about? I know you have what it takes. You do me proud, but now I must destroy you. No! Kazuma, bud! But Lord Van Zieks would never put his fate in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He does? Were you guys talking about me? It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. Oh, look at his awkward little smile. Oh no, he's so cute. Oh, 2 out of 3 people in this picture are dead. Oh, that's very sad. That's
Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gregson.
In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's the third person? Clint. It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Gregson's office, you mean? Oh, they were buds! Oh! Yes, what I'm trying to say is if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma? This is so fucking twisty-turny! What's going on? Jeez! What's up, Vanporth? We're back! Lord Van Zeeks is still reading that letter.
We've been gone quite some time, though.
Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. The fuck did you say about my reading skills? I was intending to ignore you entirely, but I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese. Sorry, I didn't think you'd hear that. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer? How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no.
We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided.
I'd expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is.
It's
going to be Kazuma Asogi. Asogi? That made the color drain from his face. Well then. Seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. Talk to us, Vanporth! What's going on, bud? Oh, yeah, no, I just realized how shitty that is of a situation. His brother was killed by an Asogi, and now his apprentice, the son of the guy who killed his brother, is going to be prosecuting him in court. This guy's life fucking sucks today. 10 years ago, my other brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi. Did you not know your guy's name?
Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father.
So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court. I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset.
But what could he have been hoping to achieve?
And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. And the bane that is you Nipponese. Right, your hatred of all us Japanese. I'd only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer. The so-called professor, assigned to the investigation as his partner, was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asogi. And that was Genshin Asogi? Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong.
Oh, how awful.
To avenge my brother, I prosecuted in Asogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented.
What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor?
Oh, the man in charge of the Professor case inquiry. Lord Maelstrom. Oh! Lord Mael Strongheart. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person on whom I felt indebted.
I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor.
Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you?
Ah.
And of all things, as a lawyer. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years that hatred had festered inside me, I could no longer control it. And I can understand why, now I know the history. But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life. To Kazuma Sogi, I am the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. I'm not sure. Because why... How does Kazuma feel about his dad? That's like a big question here. And I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious. Fucking sliced his statue in half angrily. But like... I don't know. It's very twisty. Gregson's transfer to the Paris police prefecture had officially been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh, yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he?
I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean.
It's the first time I've ever encountered it.
Oh!
The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. Sounds like that mystery even has the Reaper perplexed.
I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard.
Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. Oh, shit. I was figuring, because everyone keeps saying 10 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago. If it wasn't for... Oh, no, I pressed the wrong button. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery never would have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy.
Oh my, 10 years ago?
Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble, and that made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had great confidence in the Inspector's abilities, then.
And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life.
I don't have confidence in anyone.
Oh.
And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way. I've no doubt he thought of me only as the ominous Reaper, just like the rest of London. What really went on between Lord Van Zieks and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship? About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah, yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. Do they not have serial numbers on their fucking police weapons? What do you expect me to say to that?
Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm.
As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That, I don't know.
Oh.
I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps.
You have something in common with Lord Van Zieks after all, Mr. Naruhodo. Talent for misplacing things.
No, this has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese.
Oh dear, the rift is very wide, isn't it?
So it's not decisive evidence, clearly, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Hey, buddy. Oh wait, I have to go to present. Look at this photograph! Lord Van Zieks, we came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? His little awkward smile. He's so nervous. He's so cute. Fuck. It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense. No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future, justice, and other such lofty matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the stone-cold Reaper of the Bailey. Now let us defend you, you fuck! Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. Oh, what's that? That's what you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zieks. From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it, even though I clearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese, who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. And there are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Look at this photograph! Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. Oh no, not my favorite character trope! Oh no! But at times the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it, because no one else will represent me tomorrow. In tomorrow's trial. Will you advocate for me? Holy shit. Of course I will. It would be an honor.
I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo.
Then my life is in your hands. For Lord Van Zieks, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend Kazuma. To be continued! Oh my god. This is not what I was expecting, but I really didn't know what to expect at all. Holy crap. This is a lot. But like, it's a fun amount of a lot. Oh boy. It's so good, I know! I'm having so much fun. Like, it's fucked up, but it's fun. And I'm enjoying the shit out of this. The constant twists and turns, you see. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. There he is, being menacing! It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please.
Oh, Mike, do apologize.
However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. But what do you mean? I'm not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected.
What? A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago.
A closed court. Oh, Sholmes! What's up, bud? You managed to get your hair back to the right color. Good morning, my dear fellows! Mr. Sholmes. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem, is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Sholmes, jeez.
Oh dear, how awful for you.
I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, look, my two boys. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there's at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor, and what that would be... your eye for a good lawyer, sir. He's talking about us. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer here is a very great mind, my own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Oh, hi, Gina. Oh, she got a little armband now. And Dad. Gina. Oh, yeah, she's not gonna like the fact that we're defending her boss's supposed killer. What's on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose.
Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium?
It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Oh. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Otto? Oh, yes, Gina?
Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on?
This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him. What killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina. But I just don't believe that.
Well, if it weren't him, who was it?
I don't know that. Yet.
I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day.
If it turns out he was him who killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing.
Eh?
At least that may be some solace to the deceased.
Please, Otto. Get whoever did this. For the boss. Oh, Gina.
I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you gotta find who done this and make the wretch pay! Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please. I know, Gina. Don't worry, Gina. We'll figure this shit out. Alright, here we go.
It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Zieks?
Let's fucking go! One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Dramatique. Hi, Kazuma, buddy boy, boyfriend. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant, Barak von Zieks. Counsel for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord. God, he's hot! The prosecution is more than ready.
Oh, Kazuma-sama.
I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long, it feels. But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder. The truths revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions through the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders. How will that work, my lord? The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jurors' bench shall remain vacant today.
No members of the public are present. Might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. Members of the judiciary.
Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already.
There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma? Very well. Let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street in the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed to this court. Not at least for his miraculous resolution of one of his country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
The Professor case.
How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly. How has the range been determined? There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range. I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. Autopsy report. Nice. Get him. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively.
Bravo, Kazuma-sama. For not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven.
Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candelabra mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile.
We noticed that too, didn't we?
Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please. As you wish, my lord. Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode? No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone. But there is precious little furniture inside and is in generally poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there?
Presumably he was investigating some case or other.
When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed into the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver. God damn it. He is Edgeworth! Picking up guns at a crime scene! Fucking hell. Listen. We called him Vampworth because he kind of looked like Edgeworth, but also a vampire, and he was also the first prosecutor. Stop picking up murder weapons at the crime scene! All of you! If you see... Listen, chat, this goes out to you guys. If you're ever at a crime scene, don't pick up the murder weapon! Jeez! Anyway. Yeah, Ryunosuke too. Everybody in this game keeps fucking picking up murder weapons. Stop it! The attending officer also arrested the accused on the spot. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. A name, please, counsel. Naturally, the accused himself. Oh, spicy. Lord Van Zieks? As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken, and will be compelled to tell the truth. Spicy. Very well, let the defendant take the witness stand. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Baddock von Zieks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zieks, that you have heard Prosecutor Sogi's opening precis. I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. I know, he looks so lonely without his hallowed chalice. Here, bud, you can have mine. It's a little small, but you can use it if you want. Oh, well, every time it changes camera, it's gonna be different. Put that back. It's mine now. It's mine. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Zieks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it could come. But since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony, then, witness. Look at him. Front-facing. Doesn't even have his little wine glass. No day drinking on the defendant's stand, huh, bud? I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside, and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. And just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard the man scream. It was only then that the body of the Inspector Gregson appeared before me. Ha. That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word, it's laughable. The negging begins! What's got into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all. Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Oh, it's a little Kazuma portrait. Yeah, why the fuck were you investigating Gregson? That's important. You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for? I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry? I'd identified the distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand, then, that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No, I was privy to his movements in advance. How? I stole into his office in the yard, then consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted at 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zieks? I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what they divulge under oath. Ooh, damn, Kazuma! Ugh, why did I ever think I could defend this man? When I first entered the room... Okay. Had you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m., the sun would have only just gone down. It would have been reasonably light outside. The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a small desk lamp in the room just here. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started toward the desk to investigate. And what did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk.
Hold it!
So, who fired the gun? I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you say it was very dark in there? Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another's presence. Aha! Then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question. Oh. Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. This is going from bad to worse. And he is not helping us at all. And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor. Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part. Presumably, then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I, too, would dearly like to know that. Just as I picked up the firearm... A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened.
Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she?
They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion, and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. I gotta get some water, hold on. All these deep-ass men! Making me voice them and making my throat hurt. It was only then... What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear? I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, that it was. Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more. I see. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere. I have no idea.
Objection!
Oh, Kazu, buddy. Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused Barak von Zeeks is lying on multiple fronts. What is that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct. No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck in the candle. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yes, I can see that only the candle... Oh, this is a remix of Kazuma's theme, listen. And that, friends, is why we don't listen to the soundtrack before we finish a game. Yes, I can see that the only candle that appears to have been struck is by the bullet is long. we could reasonably expect someone to have lit all 3 candles together. Which begs the question of, why only one has ended up longer than the others? I was literally thinking that too, actually. I didn't say anything, but I was thinking, it's like, huh, those other candles are shorter, which would mean that they kept burning at some point. That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Ah! That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other 2 candles would still have been burning, so the fact is... the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum, and the accused claims that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now to the next lie. There's more? The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings.
Yes, that's right. We saw it too.
It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged, however. They included a number of reports from various historical cases. The oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. 10 years ago! Everything happened 10 years ago! And there's a common thread linking all the documents on that board. Indeed, what common thread, Counsel? They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Barak van Zieks. All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good lord! Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. Okay, it is interesting you say that, Dawn, because you have to remember, this shit is not uncommon in Ace Attorney. Like, the first Ace Attorney game, there was definitely something very similar. It all relates to what happened, I forget exactly how many years ago it was. It all relates to what happened, like, it might have actually been 15 years ago in the first Ace Attorney game. I can't remember exactly. It's been too long. But you have to remember that I played that as a young developing mind who was just learning how to tell a story. Ace Attorney has had a very big impact on how I tell narratives. So the cast-off thing is a stealth Ace Attorney reference? Not necessarily stealth, just I definitely picked up a lot of narrative tricks from these games. So... yeah, so when we play original Ace Attorney, I will be able to point out so many tropes that originated, my love for them originated in original Ace Attorney, and a lot of those tropes are in this game too, and I've just been panicking the entire time, because it's like, oh, this XYZ trope in Ace Attorney I love! I wonder if I could ever apply that to my own story someday. And then this game comes out and just fucking calls me out because they're using the same shit that I picked up from the original Ace Attorney. It's a circle! Time is a circle! You ever look at the materials you read when you were 9 to 14 and realize there was no other way for you to turn out today? Yes, so much, yes, exactly. So much of the shit that I absorbed in high school, aka original Ace Attorney trilogy, have definitely impacted my ways of storytelling. Now I'm obsessed with this game and excited to see the others. I'm glad. It's a very fun franchise. It has had a huge impact on me. I cannot wait to do the original series, but we gotta finish this one first. Ah!
Oh no.
In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been in his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain. His 2 pages magically realigned itself. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. as I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. What? What? Jeez. Order, order, order! Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barak von Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Kazuma's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed to the court as evidence. I believe it will be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. Alright, let's fucking look at that shit. And now the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question.
They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember.
Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room. Very well, lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand. Okay, hang on, I want to look at this board real quick. Did it actually give me anything? Scribbles.
There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there?
This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age, look.
Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here.
Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked out.
And do you remember? There was a red hairpiece at the scene, too.
Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League, then? Ooh, spooky!
Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look!
Oh, yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, looks just like a handprint.
And the color. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear, how disturbing.
Give me that shit. Give me that extra shit. I'll sip it up. Certainly, my lord. Okay, this is quite a, Aw, you again! Hi, bud! So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. What is wrong with your face, sir? Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us.
We're just free and easy. Sell what we like, live where we want to live.
Give them all a vacant stare as they walk down Fresno and spit a few words into a verse for them. Ah. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? Hee, everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passers-by, you know. Jaunty little tidbits? Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your ginnel it is. 6 is the price and not a penny less. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man.
Give him the money and see what it is.
Pay the man, counsel. All right. 6 it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now, you got your listening ears on? Just between us, a young couple on Slate Street have just had twins. Is that it? No, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? Wants to spread. But that bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. I've got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 a piece it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from your collar. Huh. What about the next witness, then? What name do you go by and what do you sell?
Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, isn't it? I I sell these lovely little fireworks.
That was the gunshot. That was the gunshot. It wasn't. Someone threw fireworks into the room to simulate the sound of the gunshot. Gregson was already dead. Something. Yeah. When I was a kid, we used to do 4th of July. I had relatives with a lake house in Corpus Christi. And I think they might still have it, but I haven't been there in a long-ass time. There was a pipe, like an old storm pipe, that was kind of like the end was exposed. And we, on like 4th of July and New Year's, when we would go to visit, we would throw firecrackers just like that one down the pipe, and then it would make a whole lot of fucking noise. And they sound like gunshots! Fun fact!
6 pence a pop, what do you say?
Don't light that in court! You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell?
Oh yeah, the second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, huh? Want a pot with 6 pence for a pop?
Wait, what? You want me to buy one?
Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you can blow up the whole cove room.
Try the woman.
Give her the money and see if she's right.
No. Pay the woman, counsel. All right, I'll buy one.
Lovely stuff. Right then. This is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus Special. Only 600 pence.
600?
It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there?
And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey. I knew it! It's getting added to the court! That was the sound of the gunshot! I am calling it now, I'm calling it now! And the last witness, what name do you go by and what do you sell? I am a thinker, me. All sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think. Because I stand there on the street, watching the world go on about me, they call me the Observator. Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it. So, you don't actually sell anything? Problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do, and I think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no. Come to think of it. Pity. No more purchases today, please. Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems. They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene. I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose. Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime. We'll all be begged, I thought, just between us.
Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw.
What I think is, if what we see is light and shadow, playing with our eyes, is any of it real? Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these 3 witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident. And that, I think, is a good stopping place for tonight, because it is 8. It's Monday, which means my bro will probably be getting home pretty soon. He usually doesn't work very late on Mondays. So I think now is a good place to call it a good little endpoint. And we will resume this, hopefully on Wednesday? Okay, so here's the thing about Wednesday, you guys. We may or may not have a stream on Wednesday. Yeah, I'm gonna save, relax. So the books for my Kickstarter should be getting delivered on Wednesday. So depending on what time they show up, I may, if they show up in the morning, then I should be done, moving them all in by the afternoon, and then we can have a stream as normal. But if they did get delivered in the afternoon, then I might either be too tired or too busy, dealing with the books to actually even stream that day. So it really depends. I will let you guys know on Twitter, so if you're not already following me on Twitter, you can go there, or you can join the Discord. I will be posting stuff. I'll be posting updates there to find out if we will or will not have a stream that day. Also, hey, if you want one of the books I'm supposed to be getting on Wednesday, I wrote a book on how to make webcomics, so you can go get that at the link I just dropped in chat. But yeah. So yeah, I will keep you guys updated. I checked the tracking number earlier today. It does still say Wednesday delivery. So again, if it gets delivered in the morning, then I should be fine. If it's delivered in the afternoon, I might be tired from lugging almost 2,000 pounds of books up a flight of stairs. So we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, I say let's go ahead and activate a frickin' rage, shall we? Who can we pester today? Oh, you know who's... It looks like Drawfee is streaming right now, and I see a picture of what I think is Edgeworth, so let's raid them just for funsies. Alright, so, thank you guys for the raid. I hope you enjoy. Also, go watch Drawfee. One of the people on there also is a fellow Ace Attorney enjoyer, and so it's a very good time. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully stream on Wednesday, but if not, stream on Friday where we will continue this bullshit. Let's fucking go! Bye, guys. Thanks for coming. Goodbye.